Are you sometimes struggling to find out if you gain weight, lost weight, gained fat or lost fat? If you are progressing in your fitness goals? So this video has been made in order to answer all these questions. These questions are very important because I have many new clients coming to my personal training studio and asking me, oh, but the scale is saying something and I feel different way, I feel like I'm losing weight, but the scale is saying that I gained some weight. How can you help me to understand that? This is a very recurring question, and that's why I decided to make this video in order to explain you the right and the bad indicator tools in order for you to check on your fitness gains or goals. There are actually a few different ways to check your goals. Some of them are good, they have just different goals, different purpose, and some of them are just bad in any condition. Perhaps when you were a kid, your parents or grandparents told you a very important lesson. Good workers are working with the good tools, with the appropriate tools. This is something that we can surely agree on. But now let's talk about common sense. With a measuring tape, you can measure distance. That is correct. With a scale, you can measure the weight. That is also correct. With a radar, you can measure speed. That is also, again, correct. With a scale, you can measure your progress. With a scale, you can measure your fat. This is incorrect, and that's why many people are wrong in that topic. The thing is the following. Every people wants to be either fit and slim or bulk and massive. I mean, there are still some exception people that wants to be fat, but in general, that is the two goal, the two direction that people wants to take. But how do they check their progress? By going on a scale. Is it any relevant? Let me ask you one question. If you want to check on your savings, would you use a scale? Would be kind of the same topic. If, by example, on one side you have plenty of coins, like 20 kilos of coins, and you put them on a scale, you have no idea what are these coins. Maybe 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents. Then you take 1 kilo of these coins and you add 500 grams of banknotes, 100, 200, 500 euros. It's minus 500 grams on that scale. So in theory, that means that you would have a loss. You would have less money than before. But in reality, with all these banknotes, you probably have 100 or 1,000 times more than you had before. So this is irrelevant. This is not a good way to check on your savings. It would work only if you know what you put on. If you have only one compound, if you have gold on the scale, then yes, you know that if the weight goes down, it means you have less gold. So you have less money. If you have only banknotes of 100 euros on a scale and you remove 100 grams out of it, you know, therefore, you have less money. But if you have mixed compounds on it, then you can't use that data in order to track, is it good or is it bad? And that's where we're going. This is why when you're talking about your body fat and muscles and water, you cannot track your progress by using a scale. Did you lose some water? Did you lose some muscles? Did you lose some fat, some minerals? What did you lose? Only if you know what you're losing and what you're gaining, you can use that data in order to check your progress. That is very important to understand. If on the scale you just lost 500 grams, what was it? Was it fat? Was it muscles? Then the visual can tell you. If you have less volume, then it was probably fat. But if you have more volume, then maybe you lost some muscles and gained some fat, because fat takes more volume than the muscles. The density is less for the fat than from the muscle. That is happening a lot to people, by example, stopping sport and feeling like, yeah, it's okay, on the scale my body weight is still the same. But in reality, after 1 or 2 weeks of not practicing sport, the percentage of muscles decrease and the percentage of fat is increasing. So the scale still shows kind of the same number and you feel like, yeah, I have control of it. But the composition of your body is completely changing, and the value, if you had to quote the value of your body, would be really lower. So that is the illusion that people have using the wrong tool. For all these reasons, you can say that the scale is not a good method in order to track your progress, because you can have very good progress and not seeing it into these numbers. The same way as you can have a downgrade of the quality of your body and see progress on it. That is why you can't rely on those numbers. Don't rely on the scale. Should you take your scale and throw it by the window? Of course not. First, because you might kill someone outside, and also because you might still need it. You can still use it for your luggage if you go to the airport. You can still use it to have an overall view of your body, but it's not relevant to check your progress. A second method that you can use that is not bad, but that will ask you to focus, is the mirror. You can use the mirror to tell you indication on your progress. You just need to be very attentive and to be objective. Don't be just positive in any sort that you don't see reality for what it is. But if you look really carefully to your reflection on the mirror, you will see the progress. You will see, by example, if you start to lose weight, that the first lines to appear on your body in your abs will be the side ones on here, the top part. And slowly you will see them growing, like cutting the fat from the front and the fat from the side and appearing here. That's the place where you have the shape of the muscles. And this line will appear from the top to down, starting here, then going halfway. And then halfway you will start to see the one from the middle starting to appear and going lower. Once this goes lower and lower, you will see the horizontal line appearing from the first one, then the second one, and the hardest one to lose is the last one at the bottom. So this really helps you. But when it comes to someone that has already kind of a good body and will check his gain in biceps or legs, then the perception is not precise enough in order to get the best out of it. You will see sometimes, oh yeah, I feel like my biceps is bigger, or my legs are less fat and the muscles grows, but it's not exactly accurate. So this is why that method has some limitations. But now we live in 2024, or even later when you're watching this video, we have good technology. It's already 10-15 years that we have these machines to calculate your body fat, body mass index, and percentage of your body in muscles. These machines, the impedance scale, are a good tool to check it. Now let me tell you my story with these machines. I bought a 2,000 euro, or it was like 1,800 euros machine from Tanita, old-fashioned, very professional, printing tickets and everything. And I started to use it with my clients. The point is that depending the results, because their feet were a bit more moistured than they used to, or because they ate before, or because they took a shower before, or because the time of the day, for any of these reasons, even if they are low hydrated, the result would change. And sometimes it can be really unpleasant when you see the results on your body, like you are -2 on the scale because you were obese, and overweight, and you just lose like 2, 3, 4 kilos, and you see it in your clothes, and the machine tells you, no, you gain weight. This is really unpleasant and can really drive your motivation down. That happened to a few of my clients. I could see their progress, they could see their progress, their clothes could see their progress, but the machine decided to say, you're low hydrated, so I give you a less good score with your fat percentage. Because the point of this machine is to calculate the speed of the electricity to travel in your body, and the electricity is traveling in the muscles faster because they are full of water, and slower in the fat because it's not a good conductor of electricity. So therefore, the machine, when you are dehydrated, will consider that you are fatter because the electricity will travel slower in your body due to the absence of the same level of water. This will really drag your motivation down and really not good for your mind. Then one day, one guy contacted me for a machine, professional, more modern. It was like 2 years ago, and he proposed me to make a try. So he came. I did 5 minutes stretching before he came. Then I told him, okay, I'm interested in the machine if the machine is really 100% accurate. That means that if I can really prove to my clients that what I'm doing is efficient that much, I'm happy because I know that my methods are working, and it proved with the time. But for people, having numbers to put on it would be a big motivation. That would be awesome to really quantify how much fat you lost in 1 week or so. So the guy made me try. I went on the machine, gave me a score. The score was a bit less good than the one I had. Then I decided to try it again, just to check it. Will it be the same measurement? Well, basically the measurement was a bit less good again. Then I went 15 times on it, and the 15 measurements were all different, not twice the same, all starting from okay, good, to less and less good in 15 minutes, 15 tries, and all of them less and less and less and less and less good. So this is the accuracy, and that was the 15,000 euros machine that are sold to hospitals. So for hospitals it's fine because you go only one time on it, and it gives you an overall idea of your body composition. But for me, to check the progress I help people, should be something people could try often. It is really bad for their motivation. So I decided not to buy that machine, and I will probably never do. So this is what I'm thinking about this impedance scale machine, the modern versions that are not even so much better than the previous ones. There are some other methods for tracking your results. Some of them I tried at the beginning of my career because 15 years ago there were not so many methods on the market. So what is that method? The measuring tape. I tried a notepad and I note everything, all the measurements from my clients, all the measurements I was taking, like biceps, belly, waist, if I remember, and thighs. That was the 4 measurements I was taking. Oh, and chest, maybe 4 or 5, I don't remember. The technique was so time consuming, so annoying, and also if you really place the tape in different spots, for example on biceps, if your tape is not completely aligned, or on the belly, you need to really be precise on it. And you can have variation, like if the person is a bit bloated from the food of the day, or having the opposite, or that could really influence the result on that day. I really couldn't make it work with my clients when you need, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to make the measurement. It really is too much time consuming. So I gave up on that method. I thought it's also a bit obsessive to measure your gains all the time manually. It didn't feel like my personality needed the one from my clients to always measure your biceps gains, like oh, I gain 50 millimeters or whatever. It feels a bit obsessive. So this technique didn't work for neither my clients, neither for me. Besides all these tools, you have also some other ways to check on your progress. That's the general well-being. If you basically feel way better than before, this is a very valuable input. That is very important and it's very valuable. It means that you're reaching your goals. If you felt bad before, now you feel, by example, for your nutrition, less bloated, more energetic. If you can do some things that you couldn't do in the past, that is a very good indicator. And why should you need for more? If this is good for you, then it's perfect. That's a very good indicator. The way you feel is important. Sometimes it can be influenced by your perception, so it can also be a bit tricky. But if you're honest with yourself, that is good. The exception to that rule I could find, by example, is that if you ask people doing fasting, long fasting, they all feel more energetic, feeling better than before. But science proved that in reality, the vitality of their organs were going down. So science showed that in some occasion, the way you feel is actually not correlated to the capacity of your body. So you feel better with fasting, but the long fasting, like 2 or 3 days, 1 week, these kind of things, but your body actually feel less efficient and less productive. So this is where it's always a bit tricky, but still in general you can trust your feelings. Some other tests can be performed. By example, you can use the VMA test in doctor labs, or some CrossFit test, or this kind of general health test or physical condition. By example, you can decide, okay, I'm going to test myself on pull-ups, push-ups, squat jumps, and deadlift or bench press. These kind of exercises, you make a few of them, and you say, okay, on 1 minute, what can I do? Or what is my maximum bench press? Or what is my maximum amount of kilo I can bench press in 1 minute? These kind of tests, depending on what you want to test. You can find plenty of them on the web. Even some Navy SEALs test, and so if your time is decreasing because you perform better, then you know that you are progressing. Performance is very interesting. It is not about aesthetic. You can't check your aesthetic in these tests. But aesthetic is not the main goal for everyone. Some people don't care about aesthetic. Aesthetic can be just the cherry on the cake, and you can train yourself for performances. For example, people running for very long distance, Ironman and this kind of, they're not training for aesthetic. They're training in order to do some crazy things that not a lot of people can do, so they can be proud of themselves. Another technique that people can use are the before and after picture. Well, this can also be tricky because if you use, by example, a picture made in different conditions with different lights, the result can be completely different, even if you change the device that you use in order to take the picture. If the new model makes you slimmer or less, then you will have a change that is not deserved or not reality. Even if you take a phone, do you know that many phones nowadays have some filters in algorithm in order to make you look prettier than you are in reality? Yeah, imagine, I look even less prettier than that in reality. Just a joke. But really the point is that picture can be not very accurate in a way to check your progress. Especially if one picture is from 1 year before at the swimming pool in a way, and the next one is standing and turning like this, because some pose will make you look slimmer and some pose will make you look less. If you are using a big camera the lens can have a big impact on it. On the phone, if you zoom or unzoom, it can also have an impact. A lens, by example, of 50 millimeters is normally more realistic than a teleobjective where you zoom on. And same if you take a wide angle, it can really make a change on the picture. So we know that it can show a difference, but the accuracy of this difference is not really reliable. So finally, the time has come for me to tell you the technique I'm using with all of my clients, the one I'm recommending to everyone, how to check your results and to boost your confidence. It is super quick, it is super cheap, and it's easy to use. That technique is the size of your clothes. So basically, if you want to lose weight, let's take the biggest common example. If you want to lose weight, you can take one size smaller in your trousers, in your t-shirt or in your dress and measure it. I recommend to go for jean and t-shirt. That is the best way to check your fitting. Basically, if you are 56, I just gave a number, I'm not very familiar with the number of the sizes. If you are 56, you just buy a 54 and you try it. Maybe first time you will go on it just until the thighs and you feel like, oh, doesn't work. Okay, that's an indication. You know that is your clear goal to fit in these trousers. That is a motivation of getting closer to your goal, not escaping something like losing weight, but going to something. In NLP, we know that this is very important. NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, it's the difference between going for a goal or escaping a situation. When you escape a situation, you don't know where you arrive. When you go for that goal, you really get more and more motivation the closer you arrive from that goal. So this will motivate you. It will be really easy to check. It takes, I don't know, 1 minute. You take the jeans, you try it, you go to the thighs first time, you try 1 week later, you go here a bit higher than the thighs, then to the hip, and then you can fit in it, but you cannot close it. And then you can close it, but you still look quite ugly in it. You feel like bloated. Okay, that is not very pleasant. 1 week later, 2 weeks later, you feel like, I can close it. And then, it's too big. You can have a few fingers in it. Then you don't stop there. You just buy one size smaller and you keep on going on these objectives and your motivation will be skyrocketing. This is the best method, the one I'm using with all my clients, and really it works for everything. If you want to gain muscles, it also works because basically you will see, I, by example, started in t-shirt from M and I went to L to XL. So I know that my chest grew, my shoulders, my arm, sometimes my arm feels completely bigger than the t-shirt, and I feel it. So this is an indication. Depends before training, after training, and so. But you can really have a good look, close look, accurate on your progress. Also, sometimes you will see that it's your belly growing. That will not be pleasant, but at least you know exactly, and you know that you need to reverse the process. I gain a bit of belly, then I need to change what I was doing. Because if you have large clothing, like some of my clients not being very comfortable with their weight, they have the tendency to have big floppy clothes. The point is, if they gain or if they lose, they don't see it, so they don't have that boost of motivation. And also there is a very important law of nature. Nature abhors emptiness. That means that if you have a small bag, you will organize, for women by example, you will organize everything to fit in that bag. If you buy a bigger one, you will see one day or another, it will be full. Nature abhors emptiness, same as human people. That means that if you have place in your t-shirt to fit more fat, you will have the tendency to eat more until that t-shirt becomes stretched. That is not a good way. Don't forget that if you use that technique, don't wash your clothes, the one that you use for fitting, because they might shrink when you wash them in the machine. That's not what you want, because that will kill your motivation. You don't want that. You want to have your motivation, and you also want to have objectivity. You don't want to fake the data. You want to have accuracy. So keep that jeans in your dressing. Leave it maybe in a place where you can see it, so you can try it often, and you will see that it will boost your motivation. Now you know all my tricks in order to help people to check their results. Of course, I'm using different tools, by example also the tracking data from my app, in order to check how many push-ups, how many pull-ups they can do. I write all the conditions about it, start of session, end of session, the conditions if they were performed properly and all. But the indicators of closing is really best way for people to keep their motivation, even if they don't have any app, they don't have expensive device or access to any of these. They just take maybe the previous clothes they had, or just buy one to use. That will be a good way. In the part below the video in the app, because Coach Corner, don't forget, is an app. It's K-Fit app. It's a plan inside the app. You will have also a PDF to download in order to track your size, because if you follow this method, you still need to write the dates and how it fits. And then you will see the progress. You can even make a graph if you want, but at least you know, okay, at that date I wasn't fitting. Now at that date I introduced something new in my nutrition, and now I'm fitting. Okay, 2 weeks later I can fit. This is a good motivation. So don't forget to go on YouTube. You will have below the video the link to the app. You can download your free file below the video in order to have this tracking system. I hope I helped you in this video, and I hope you will learn something and benefit from all my years of experience. I see you in the next video. Stay tuned and take care.